everyone. This is Jacqui Cooper with the Blockchain Legal Institute, as well as CryptoMom2 talk show. I would like to welcome everyone to this episode of the Blockchain Legal Institute member Bytes, and to remind you always to like and subscribe, as there are a lot of great conversations that are coming down the road, and we want to make sure you're always up to date with all the current events. So today I have a very distinguished guest on, who is one of the members within the Blockchain Legal Institute. And as everyone might know, the Blockchain Legal Institute is a resource library of both online resources as well as individuals and services that can be provided in the Web3 space. And it's an evolving space, so there's always a lot to keep up with. And it's also important that you have reliable resources and people you can consult with and ask questions about, especially as the vocabulary and the developments are happening daily. So today we have an individual, Wes, who's on, who is an expert in a certain area. And I say the word expert because of his distinguished career in this space, and through the experience that he's had both with a lot of different companies, he has really developed a critical eye on how to evaluate blockchain companies, the security issues, and a lot of the other tech questions that might evolve when you are in the space. Sometimes you might be developing a company and you might need to have a second opinion, and or even a first opinion. And that is what Wes and his company does. Just like if you go to a doctor, sometimes you need to have a second opinion. So with that being said, really quickly, I'm just going to give a brief synopsis about who I am in case you're new to the member Byte side. My background's law as well as education, and I'm the CEO of the Blockchain Legal Institute. And I'm really passionate about making sure that as our decentralized space evolves, that you as the listeners and the members of BLI and also our community have accurate resources. These conversations are not legal advice, not financial advice, and definitely not investment advice. You have to do your own research. With that, Wes, I want to welcome you to the member Byte. How are you doing today?
Good, Jackie. Thank you for inviting me to the show today.
Yeah, so the company that we're going to be talking about is FPBlock, and it is definitely a company that has a lot of different resources. Before we talk about the services that you're providing, how did you come? I'm all about stories. How did you come to this space? I know that for me, I'm a career changer in so many ways. How did you find the blockchain and your interest in this area?
Oh, well, a lot of different ways. I've been in this business 38 years, so technology changes every, 18 to 24 months. So as I progress through my career, I've always been very interested in providing customers or clients with technologies that they can operate their businesses on with confidence, securely. They can scale it, they can run things like that. So over the years, I've built companies, sold companies, run companies, fixed companies, helping owners and boards and shareholders get value out of their businesses. I came to FPBlock, which is part of the FP Complete family, about 5 years ago. Aaron Contora, who is our chairman, founded the company 12 years ago, ex-Microsoft guy. If you're familiar with the virtual studio world, he ran that, built that for Microsoft. And then about 5 years ago, he decided that he needed to get an operator into the business versus a technologist into the business to take FP Complete to the next level and eventually try to exit the business as we grow it. So with that, we've always been, the FP Complete brand has always been in a functional programming tools, software engineering space where we've always built highly scalable, industrial, secure applications and back-end systems for clients. And that just kind of flowed into the blockchain space as it matured. We've been building ecosystem dApps and blockchains now for over almost 8-9 years now. We were one of the original auditors of Cardano back in the day when that first came out with Charles and company. We've worked on numerous platforms. We've built numerous various chains and games and DeFi products out there for customers. And what we have found as an organization is there is a desperate need for companies that can build technology right. And we see that. So what we do specifically as a company of FPBlock, FP Complete, is we build industrialized, scalable, and secure applications and systems for the blockchain space. We're experts in the Cosmos ecosystem primarily. And we have about 6 or 7 now very successful projects behind us. They're actually generating income for their owners, which what you find in this space, frankly, is you can go to any ecosystem website, be it Ethereum, Avalanche, Cardano, whatever, and there's a lot of names up on the website about projects that we're working on, but very few of them actually make it to market. The ones that do make it to market are not very good applications due to technical challenges, programming challenges, what have you. And 3, there's really nothing there that's secure or could be secure. So we take that approach. A lot of our projects that we come into, a lot of the work we come into is clients, primarily investors, founders, CEOs, business teams that have an application or have a project going. They've been doing it for a while. We just picked up a new client yesterday for the same reason. They've been trying to build something for 2 years. They can't get it to market because of the latency issues, security issues. The teams are fighting. They don't trust their development team. And we've came in and did an assessment for them. And now we're basically going to take over and start building that application, rebuild it basically from ground up for them. And we'll be able to do that in about 4 months, but they took 2 years to do. And that's our case studies. Our business has littered with those case studies of where people have tried and tried, but they've always missed something. What a lot of folks don't understand in this business, you can write and have a developer, and this is the challenge that a lot of business leaders have, is they may have a CTO or they may have a developer that they know sort of, or their friends or what have you, or co-founders, but they don't understand the technology. They don't understand all the technology that's required to be industrialized, to be able to scale it, to be secure. They may be great front-end people that write the front-end website. They may be decent at the back end or a database person, but they don't have the whole thing. And that's where we come in. We have been doing cloud before cloud was cloud. So we've been building cloud-based technologies now since 2013. We've been doing blockchain engineering since 2015, 2016. And that's what we've done. And outside of the blockchain space, we have a fairly large list of Fortune 500s in the regulated industry space. So we bring a lot of experience in from regulated fintech, regulated industries, pharma, medical device, trading platforms, financial services companies. So we understand what you have to do to be in compliance, be looking at your world from a lens of how do I protect the assets of the company, and more importantly, the assets of the people using your technology out there. And that's a big problem in our space, in the blockchain space today, is a lot of the, you're almost assured if you're trading money or trading tokens or anything like that within this space, somebody's trying to attack you and steal your money. And we have seen many, many cases where our colleagues and our clients have lost millions of dollars because they got exploited because of poor engineering. So that's what we try to fix.
I think what you're saying is really important for everyone who's listening, because like you said at the beginning, the tech evolves so fast. And so it is important not to discredit any of the new developers that are out there, but it is important to make sure that when you are looking at a company who you want to consult, they have a history and a track record. So that way, even though you might have new people on your team, you still have the oversight of experience. And I think that is really important, especially in this changing community. I'm gonna pull up your website because I think that we can go through that, and it will also show the diversity of what you're doing. So give me a quick second while I pull it up. And okay. So we have, you know, the front page up, and what it is saying is definitely that you're leading the charge in engineering, in DeFi, analytics, and GameFi. Now, there might be individuals who actually don't understand because they're new the definition. How would you define DeFi or analytics or GameFi? Just because, again, these are vocabulary, and we have a lot of different people with a lot of different backgrounds who might be hopping on.
Well, first off, engineering, we are engineers, we're not developers. And there's a big difference that people lose sight on. Developers are people that can write code to requirements. They don't necessarily understand why they're writing that code. It's just make this happen, book this report happen, do this, make these calls. We're engineers. We understand the math, the science, the algorithms that go into why this is being done the way it's being done. So we were able to address those security issues and things like that. In the DeFi phase, which is distributed finance, it is what it is. I mean, it's gambling, it's trading platforms, it's anything that has to do with tokenomics or with real money being moved around, traded, or used for the purpose of growing your balance sheet. So that's a lot of that. The analytics side of it, when you look at analytics, the need for accurate truth of record information, helping people pull that out. Data has become so much a part of our lives. You hear about all this AI stuff now, and you run the chat GPT-3s or whatever, and you get wrong information out of it, frankly. And you have to be very cautious in how you get truth of record for your stuff. So we help people build their databases, build their data structures, so they're actually getting true reporting out there and they can trust that data. And then obviously the GameFi space, which is a lot of fun for us, is helping customers build games and let them go to market, not just in the game itself and the game strategies, but tying the tokenomics to it, tying the NFT business to it, building these games so they're I wouldn't call them fantasy games or whatever, but where you can encapsulate yourself into a world with like-minded people playing games, trading using money, training people, dressing your figures, having NFTs, things like that. So it's those are big spaces, all of them. They're all
Very big spaces, and what you shared is, I mean, all the different verticals that might be on, that are on Blockchain Legal Institute's various verticals. So yeah.
But if you look at all of them, the one thing that they have in common that is desperately needed across them is secure, scalable app engineering. You got to protect, and not have your application be exploited by bad actors. You need to make sure that you don't get reputational damage because your site's down or people lose whatever they just spent the last hour doing and they can't get it back, or they're getting information that's not accurate and they're making decisions that are wrong because of the data that you're producing. So all of these have a fundamental bedrock of good engineering that is secure and scalable and industrial, and that's where we focus our energies. That's how we can go across these different platforms and these different verticals so well, because the underneath layer is all the same. It's a blockchain. It is proper architecture of the software. It's proper building of the infrastructure so it can scale and take advantage of the technologies. And you need it in all of these.
So I'm going to scroll down here. These are some of your clients, and I'm going to keep on going. And I love how you define decentralized finance. I mean, that really is pivotal for individuals to understand about the idea of trading and finance. And then we have the GameFi, platforms. And I'm going to keep on going. Blockchain code reviews and enhancements. I'm going to stop here for a second because I think that that's a really important area with all the various things that you've talked about. Do you find that, who are the clients that you're trying to help? I know you can help a variety of clients, but if someone is thinking, why would I need you? How could you help me? Who's the client that you think really should think preventive and not after the fact?
Well, that's a good question. because a lot of our customers come after the fact, after they've been exploited, after they've spent millions of dollars trying to go to market. So, our thesis, what we do is we help customers get to market, get to revenue fast. We know how to build. We've developed our tools to do it. And so we can help a customer build something to fast, fast to get it to market and producing revenue, which is the key for a lot of the folks in this space. For us, our ideal customer profile is a founder, visionary founder, a CEO, an investment group that has a portfolio of companies that are not meeting their expectations, or their development teams are not meeting their goals. They have a great idea for a product, great marketing around that product, but they just don't know who to go to for the engineering. They're going and, just going and trying to find somebody or a friend of a friend that really, they could write code, but they don't really understand how to build a system that's going to work in this space, take advantage of the technologies, and protect them from exploits from the outside. That's our customer. So the founders, the CEOs, the business teams, the investment community that have ideas and products, that want to build a product, are funded to go build that product, but they just don't know where to go from an engineering perspective to get it done and work with their product management team and their business teams to bring that to life.
And I think you also mentioned when we were talking off camera, a lot of times too, companies start with one team and they might continue with that team, but they might need an outside individual or outside company like yourself to kind of spot check.
Yes.
You want to talk more about that area, because I think that that's really important. You can have a really great team, but you sometimes need second eyes to look, just to make sure that everything is where you think it is.
Absolutely. A lot of the times we are asked to come in and look at the customer's code base, to look at what their engineering and their CTO are doing. Because it's this space, in general, every engineer that's a good engineer thinks they can build it better than the next guy or lady. And that is not necessarily the case. They may understand, and we see it a lot of times, choice of language. They may want to go write in Java or JavaScript, not a great language to be doing this in. They may want to, they don't trust the blockchain. We see a lot of Web2 guys coming into this space, and they don't understand how to write to blockchain. They don't understand all the things that go around that. So they'll literally write systems around the blockchain to, see if the blockchain's right, which causes all kinds of problems and exposures within the system. So, a lot of what we try to do when we come in and when our clients come in and ask us to take a look at it is really understand what they're trying to do with that application, and understand where the potential security flaws are, understand if the architecture is right. Unfortunately, in our industry, a lot of development companies, a lot of development teams, if you're familiar with the big guys, the outsourcers of the world, the Capgeminis, the Tatas, the other players, EPAMs of the world, their mindset, their business model is to get into a customer and never leave. And that's what a lot of these companies try to do, is get into the customer and build a mousetrap that only they understand. And so as an owner, as an investor, as a whoever, you can never disengage from them. You're always having to add more and more of them to it. And all of a sudden your operational costs become, more than your revenue, and it's not a winning situation for you. So, we see that a lot with teams across the world, where they'll build something very complex, very difficult to manage, very difficult to upgrade, very difficult to add features and functions to it, and really kind of locking that team or that company into being the only group that can do that. And then that becomes a business risk for the owners because of cost, because of the ability. Like one of the clients we just worked with, Web2 developers into the Web3 space, didn't really understand blockchain. They literally wrote services that were core to the main core piece of the application. So any hot fixes, if they had any kind of issue with a vulnerability or a critical issue where they had to fix the code base or do a hot fix into it, it was 24 to 48 hours minimum. Well, if you're in a DeFi space or a GameFi space, you have to shut that down. You can't do it. All of a sudden, your reputation's destroyed. You know, if you keep it up, you're going to lose money because they're going to find a way to steal your money. So we see this a lot, and so they'll build these things not thinking about when it's built and we're done. We're not thinking about how is this thing going to operate? What is it going to cost? Like we'll see time and time again. The last 5 customers that I've dealt with in the last 6-7 months, they were spending 5x, 4x of what they should be on Amazon Cloud, AWS, or Azure because of the way the applications were built. They weren't built to support cloud native. They weren't built, they were using the hardware, which is expensive, around their failures in the code base. And, long story short, I just had a customer yesterday. We gave them the report. It's like, you're spending $22,000 a month on AWS. You should be spending 2, and they're like, well, why? Is because, well, this is what you did. Now, how can we solve that problem without rewriting the code? Well, you can, but you're only going to save 3 or 4 by doing these things and adopting DevOps practices and things like that. So at the end of the day, finding a good engineering team is hard. There's a lot of them out there. That's what we do. We've been doing it for a long time. And our goal is not to be there forever. Our goal is to build it, turn it over to you, and get out and go to the next one. So we want to train your people. A lot of our customers keep us around when they want to do enhancements or stuff, but we don't want to be the day-to-day operators. We don't want to be the guy there 10 years from now with you. Well, we'd love to work with you on another project or another product, but not that one. And a lot of people don't have that mindset. We want to stay there forever and just how much can we, drain the cash. So a lot of these, a lot of what we see is these companies just don't know where to go, and they don't understand the decisions that are being made by the technical teams. They trust right or wrong, the CTO's decisions, and they may not be right. They may not really be true CTOs. They may just be the smart guy in the room that they made the CTO to get the investment money in the door to go build. And you find yourself with these guys, with a lot of companies building white elephants that you just can't operate once they're built. And, that's not good for the industry. That's not good for us as an engineering community. That's why you see a lot of issues with all the legal going on with the SEC and all these companies saying we got to regulate. There's too much fraud. There's too much whatever. It's because you don't have good, solid engineering and security practices built into your code base. So we're helping to try to move that forward a little bit every day.
I think for those companies that are new to this space, what would you recommend to them, in terms of what they need to be thinking about as new blockchain entrepreneurs? And the same lessons might also apply to those that have been in the space for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it goes back to what it is that you do, but what recommendations do you have for them to be thinking about, especially if they're looking at hiring a consultant, whether it's your company or another company? What are the critical factors they should be looking for?
I think, if you're looking for somebody to come in and help and you're new to this business or you're in this space, you definitely want to make sure, that you understand the marketplace that you're in. You want to understand the security risk. You really want to understand the blockchain you're choosing, because, there's a lot of blockchains out there and a lot of them are garbage. And a lot of them don't work well, and a lot of them have security issues, and they're going to, and they're not responsive to you, and they're posing, so to speak. So make sure you look at what blockchain you're going to. There's some really good ones out there. There's some really bad ones out there. Do your research. Because I know a lot of people that are coming in this space as entrepreneurs are trying to fill holes that have been filled in Ethereum, but they're not filled in Avalanche, or they're not filled in Cosmos, or not filled here. Just make sure you're picking the right chain space. Understand what your end game is. What are you trying to do? Make sure you build your product roadmap out and get as much into it as you can before you build it. You'll be much happier in the end result if you just take that extra month and really vet out the requirement. And then, when you're getting into this space, experience matters. Proof is in the pudding, so to speak. Look at customers that can say, hey, I built this application, we built it, it's generated now 3 billion in revenue or trade volume. It's making that company 35, 45,000 a month in free cash flow, and still building. This company raised 10 million and still getting 50,000 a month in royalty revenue off of their game. That's the proof in the pudding. How many exploits have they had? How many, look at their Discord channels and see what the community's saying. Understand there's thousands of developers, there's thousands of companies all over the world that do this or pretend to do this. And, you need to get to know who you're dealing with. You need to have that relationship with them and the trust in them. And you also need to have a secondary, there to kind of look over the shoulder and say, I wouldn't do it that way. I'd do it this way and let them fight it out, because then you'll get the best solutions. Just listening to one guy you hire, wherever in the world, because he seems smart, may not be your best bet, because he may not only know but what he knows.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. So everyone who's listening, both on the audio side as well as on the YouTube side, definitely know that Wes's contact information will be in the blog below. Any last minute thoughts that you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I appreciate the time today, Jacqueline, the Blockchain Institute. I think it's great. There's a lot of changing landscapes that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
As far as legal, regulatory, engineering, and there's not really a really good source of information out there. And we need as a community to build that, and then be able to, bring that forth to the various governmental and agencies to say, hey, this is what we should be doing in this space, and start acting like adults, so to speak, and not, just the wild, wild west we've been in for the last 8 years. So, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank the community for, being a part of this. And if y'all need anything or any help, more than happy to, help y'all reach out, give us a call. I got a great team globally, so we'll be there to provide advice if that's what they need, or build your application if you need it.
Yep.
That'd be my advice, and I appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. Well, I mean, again, the Blockchain Legal Institute definitely covers legal issues and compliance, but it's primarily a library of resources, so that way everyone can stay in compliance and can understand the ever-changing nature of the laws that are around the world. And, as you said, it's important to have teams that, like you do, in a variety of communities, so that way you can work different time zones and also understand the complexities in that community. So, anyone who's listening, if you have a question, definitely reach out to Wes, and also reach out to myself. So, as I always mention at the end of all my shows, remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're all so interconnected, and we're all part of one world. So thank you, and have a great day, and we'll talk soon.